Hello.
Sorry. Hi, I'm Christy Forsyth.
I'm Davey Fielding.
Do you want to share this on your page?
Yeah, because you know how slow I am. Hang on. I can't find you.
We do all of our own technology, guys. I know that's surprising.
You never knew. Hang on. Share your... Where am I sharing it with? Your story, your page.
Share. I think you share now, right?
Share now.
Yeah, I think.
Oh, I just share it on there. I just share it on my normal page. So.
Oh, okay.
I know, and then I'll try and share from there onto my other page.
Oh yeah, I don't know how to.
No, I know. I'm so. People that follow me know that I'm so untechnical. I say to everyone, I'm like your granddad.
It's authentic. It's authentic.
Yeah,
we don't know what we're doing. We don't.
Well, you do. I don't.
Not really.
Oh, hang on. Look, maybe I can share this onto my page now. No.
Oh yeah.
Hang on.
Right?
Group into a group.
No, that's your group, not your page.
Duh. Your page, through my page.
Just getting this shared. Hello, Lynette.
Copy link. Oh, hang on. There you go.
Look at you.
Copy link. Hello, Annette. Do I know Annette?
Lynette.
Lynette. Oh, Lynette. Hello, Lynette. She's probably thinking, oh my God, who is this character? What are you doing?
The first 10 minutes is just us laughing and trying to figure things out.
Was that right?
You did it!
Did I do it?
You did it.
Post now. Ooh.
Okay. I think we're in it, guys.
There you go. Well, it's great to see everyone. And if you are watching, please say hi.
Hello.
Hello, 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 hello.
So we, number one, are planning to do lives more often together.
Yes.
So,
she said, do you notice how Chrissy's like, yeah, I can do lives, yeah. Or not.
That's the plan. That's the plan. So we're going to be doing more of that. I mean, we're here at the Clarity Center together, and and now we have a little bit of a studio space set up. I'm working on still getting the echoes out and getting some things together, but it's coming together.
It's coming together, and I love the fact that we have a studio. If you could see it, you'd be impressed. 'Cause I'm impressed.
Yeah.
It's like a proper studio.
It really is.
It is, yes. We have a studio. Yes, it's a studio.
So we're working on that, and we're going to use the studio space and do some more videos together. Before we dive into what we plan on talking about, though, I do want to highlight the event that we have coming up. Yes. I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, I'm so excited. When we spoke about it to begin with, I was really nervous, I'll be honest. And I was thinking, oh my God. But now I can't wait.
What she got me doing now?
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like ask the psychics. What are they going to ask me? But really, you can ask us anything, and that's the joy and the greatness about the event is that you literally can come with anything you want to know. It could be kind of like, you know, anything kind of universal, anything about energy, anything about angels.
Yeah.
You know,
and even personal questions, right? Like we wanted to kind of leave that open and have that be not necessarily what people are used to, which would be kind of like that gallery style reading where we would choose you. And instead, for me anyway, the way that when I read works best, it works best for us to just receive questions, and I do better that way, and to be able to respond that, and I really like that because then people get what they need. So we want to create something together with you guys. Jillian's asking, is it an in-person only or online? This time it's going to be in-person only. We're kind of like giving this a try and seeing how it goes, but we would love to expand into doing that type of event and more events.
I don't think
virtually.
I don't think there's ever been anything like it, to be honest with you. There's a lot of psychics out there that are doing gallery readings, but none where you can ask questions, and you literally can ask anything. You can say, you know, can you tell me about my mom? Is she here? Has she passed over? You can ask things, anything kind of investigating wise, which I think is going to be very interesting. Because, you know, anyone knows me knows that I do lots with the FBI and stuff. So if you've got any kind of questions you want to know about how somebody died or where they could be, that's another thing you could bring to the table. which that'd be really, that'd be just.
I feel like that's like so your territory.
Yeah.
You really.
Yeah, that'd be rowdy if somebody, if somebody came with some big, like unsolved mystery. I mean, that could be wonderful, wouldn't it? Yeah. So there you go.
So we're gonna just flow with it, and so I think that for anybody who's there too, it's gonna be entertaining and interesting because we are gonna just be addressing things that would apply to everybody, and then that would apply personally. So we're really excited about it. I put the link to this already right here with the live. So let's see. I'm just seeing. Oh no, we got a fake psychic trying to scam you guys already in comments. So don't give these people your money. But if you don't get scammed, this is what they do. But if you would like to attend the event, I did put the link to that below. Make sure that you're looking for the Ask the Psychics event, not the people who are saying, Grand Rising, dear ones. I feel a special pull to your energy and I'd like to read for you.
It's a shame.
Those people, don't do that.
No, don't give them money. I've had people give them money. I'm like, no.
I've had so many fake Christies, it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
You've had a lot of fake Davies.
Yeah, I know.
Yep. So we thought that we would talk today just about rising above the heaviness or the darkness, because it's something that comes up all the time for both of us in the work that we do, where people are really struggling, and we both have our own experiences with that. You know,
and they're very people. I find that everyone is kind of going through this, where you're kind of stuck in this energy, and you want to know that things are going to get better. You're like, well, I don't understand why this is happening, why this is happening.
Yeah, you know? And it's hard to know what to do, because I think that we get really caught up in that, and especially when we've been in a period of time where you're working through a lot of stuff. Like, I know for me personally, the past few years, I finally feel like I've been moving out of that, but there was like about a 3-year period where I was doing a lot of what I call shadow work, right? Where I was really being called by God to like go within and do my healing work and take a look at why this was happening, or why I was repeating this pattern, or why I was feeling the way that I was feeling. And that stuff isn't easy at all to take a look at yourself, or what you need to change, or what you need to work on, or to even just like be willing to sit with and feel your emotions. Not easy.
No, I mean, those guys that follow me online know that I'm constantly going through some state of depression or something, where I'm kind of battling something. And I think it also comes part and parcel with being an empath, I think, as well.
Absolutely.
You know, it really does. So I don't know, most of you that follow me and Christy, you have those empathic traits, and I think it really does. What's going on at the moment is just crazy.
Yeah. And so we can absorb that on collectively. When the energy is heavier, we can absorb that. We can absorb that from other people too, and that gets kind of heavy too. I would love to hear from you guys how everybody's doing. Feel free to be interactive for while we're live here.
Yeah, we want to just take the worry away. I mean, tell us some of the things you're worrying about, what's going on at the moment. It all seems to be coming to a head though at the moment. Are you finding that?
Yeah, I think that, I think a lot of people are doing their work right now, which is why I mentioned the shadow work piece, right? Like, I do feel like we're moving out of our work on a collective level. You know, really, we've been learning a lot of lessons, and because of that, we're leveling up in a lot of ways, right? So we're going to be approaching things differently. I think as we approach things differently, we will feel lighter, right? Because we'll start to have a different experience.
Lisa says she's very tired.
Yeah.
And I get that. I think I'm finding it very hard to do everything. I'm normally juggling everything at the same time, which you are, and I don't even have the kids that you have. You know, you've got a family, but it is hard to try and get everything together and try and I know, Lisa, you've got a family and you've got kids and stuff, so it is hard, isn't it, to get everything together and think, oh my God, where am I in this? Because I always say to people, what are you doing for yourself? But it's very easy to forget yourself in everything as well, isn't it?
Well, I think it's the way of the world, right? Where we get caught up in everything else that we need to do. And to me, that's like one of the most important things is that self-care to bring yourself out of that heavy energy, is to make sure that you're taking that time for that. That's more important than probably everything.
About to choke on my water. Excuse me. Always alive. If you've not got my dog barking, you've got me choking. So, yeah, I don't know how you are feeling about just, well, look, what is Amber saying? Mentally drained. And yeah, Amber, it's like, I don't know. It's like we're striving for something, but we don't quite know what we're striving for, because we've always been pushing, but we're kind of exhausted of that push, of that, oh my God, I've got to keep going. I've got to get up. I've got to, but I feel like it's getting better. That's what we're talking about.
I do too.
It is. It's like as you said, it's come to the head. And I would say I'd say by September, going into October, it's going to be cleared. Do you feel that?
Yeah, absolutely. And even, when I did like yearly readings for people and stuff like that, that was like the time period collectively that seemed so much lighter for everybody, where stuff was starting to come together.
Is it connected to the moons and the moon and
to the astrology and stuff?
Yeah,
I think it'll be lighter. I mean, of course, I think we're always doing our work. So we're always going to be working on stuff, but I do feel like it looks lighter, and just energetically what I feel, it looks lighter.
And it's very interesting. We had this smoke for the last week where it was coming from Canada, supposedly, and I'm not going to put my theory on that. But it's interesting that came as well, because it was like, oh, and now we've got this thing going on again where we're faced with another thing where we can't breathe, and it's just. And Kim says, I want to get off the mental roller coaster. Absolutely. I absolutely hear you, Kim.
Yeah.
I'm the same. I'm like, oh my gosh. And I had a grip on everything, and then suddenly I think, oh my God, I haven't got a grip on anything.
Well, that's what I said in my weekly reading. It was like, we felt like last week that some things were starting to click together and come to and be more clear. And then this week it's just like, okay, maybe I didn't know what I thought I knew, or or I'm more confused than I was before. And I feel like it's that push in some ways for us to really bring us into a place of flow and surrender, which to me personally has been one of the hardest lessons, is to just kind of allow for God, the universe, the divine, whatever, to lead the way. And the more that we can lean into that to me is like that way up and out of the heaviness. But that's hard.
It is hard. I find it so hard to let go, me personally. I mean, you're talking to someone that I still think about, oh, this happened to me when I was 8 years old. And I'm like, so I'm finding it very hard at the moment to let go of a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff from my past is coming up as well. Is that happening for you?
Yep.
It's crazy where suddenly we're thinking, oh my gosh, I wish that hadn't happened, or I should have behaved like this, should have behaved like that. What's that about? That's nuts.
I think that stuff has a way of coming to the surface to give us an opportunity to heal it. Right? To take a look at that. And because I think that healing we have to do healing, especially the big stuff, in layers, right? So if stuff keeps coming back around, it's like, okay, it's time now for a new layer of healing with this. It's time to cry about it, feel about it, write about it. I mean, however you do your healing, I feel like healing is a very individualized process, but it's like, even tuning into yourself and asking yourself, okay, this is coming up again for me. What do I need to do with this? Like, why is this coming up? What do I feel called to do with this? Or what would be helpful for me right now, today, to manage it? And that's like one of the ways that I approach that. I find it helpful to like go through the layers.
Laurie is saying me too. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think for me is to try and remain in my power, like to keep reminding myself who I am, what I have achieved rather than what I haven't, what I've got going for me rather than what I haven't got. And then that's tough. Yeah. That's tough. It's like you're constantly like, well, you might not be where you want to be at this moment, but at least you're here.
Yep. At least you're here.
And I know that sounds, and I have to keep constantly saying that to myself. Well, at least you're here, love. At least you're here, and But it's managing it, isn't it? It's almost monitoring it. It's almost like, because I know it's not going away yet, but it is going.
Yeah.
It is going,
yeah.
but it's not going away as fast as we want it to go.
Right. And honestly, that's kind of always going to be there. I feel like we have that part within us that always wants more. And the purpose of that to me is that we're here to be powerful co-creators here in this world, right? So that desire, that want is like creating that signal that's going out to the universe that we are creating from. And so that desire is always going to want to be there. So like, even if I look at where I am now versus where I was 5 years ago in so many different ways, it's like, wow, so much has changed, so much has shifted. And I find that to be really helpful, like you're talking about, right? But I probably, even 2 years from now, when lots of other stuff have happened, there's going to be that small part of me that's like, but what about this? And what about this? Because I think we're always wanting more, because it's like that mechanism within us that wants to support our growth, right? Because we don't want to be stagnant. We don't want to be stuck.
No.
We want to always grow and develop until we die.
Do you find that we're being shown a lot of stuff at the moment for us to kind of resolve it, get over it, kind of to let go of it?
I think, opportunities for healing. Yeah.
Because there's so much we're being shown. Like, I know the people I talk to, and they're going through so many things, and you're finding out the truths of people. I think that's the biggest thing, is finding out the truths of people. People are revealing. I've been saying it from the beginning of the year. This is the year of reveal, and we are really being shown a lot of truth, and it's painful at the moment. It's like, hang on a minute. I don't want to be faced with that. I just want to get on with my day. I don't want to be bothered with this problem, but hey, we're in it, aren't we?
Yeah.
But it is getting better.
But it is, you're right, it's heavy. Like when we're faced with a truth or information that we don't like, right? Like sometimes I have little temper tantrums. Like why did this not work out the way that I feel that it should? Or why is this truth not the truth that I would prefer it to be? And that's that faith and that surrender, right? Like trusting that God has a better plan for it.
Yes.
And I've seen this long enough to kind of know that on some level, that if I just trust it, that there is a better plan, and that my plan, as much as I hate to admit that usually, that my plan is not always the best plan, that I have to trust in the higher plan, because the higher plan, the plan that God, the universe sees, is going to be better, because God can see it all.
Absolutely.
Right, and it's all coming together. So, but you're right. Like that truth is challenging. But you know what they say about truth? It'll set you free.
Exactly.
Too. And I do. Like I said, it's funny you said truth, right? Because like for me, I said it's the year of freedom.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Right, and like I think that's part of. I agree completely. Absolutely. I'm seeing people connect with their truth, or to connect with certain truths that in some ways maybe are difficult, but also is leading them into a path of more freedom. Yeah. Which I think is ultimately what we all
want. And I think a lot of us at the moment as well, I'm finding, for me personally, I'm on a ledge and I've got to either throw myself off it or I'm going to get pushed. Does that make sense? I really feel like I'm on that ledge of like, what do I do now? Like, where do I go now? Like, what is next? And I know that a lot of this I've got to do myself. I can't rely on, someone doing this for me.
Yeah, that's like uncomfortable though, right? I find like that God will push us into that place, like right on that ledge of the cliff.
Oh, absolutely.
Through that discomfort. God loves to use discomfort to move us, right? Because like if we're like happy and comfortable, like I don't know about you, like I'll sit on my ass, like
we don't learn from that comfortable, do we?
Right. It doesn't move us. Discomfort moves you, right? So God will use that and move you to the edge of that cliff when it's time for you to create changes in your life. And you're standing there looking at it, and it's like, well, I've got all this stuff on my back and that doesn't feel good. Looking forward feels really scary. Yeah. what do I do, right? But for me, when I decided to leave the job that I had before this and transition into doing this work full time, that was really scary for me. I like stability. I like to know what to expect. And it wasn't there yet, but I kept getting pushed and pushed and pushed. Oh. Finally, to the point that I was so uncomfortable that I was like, forget it. I'm going to just take the leap of faith. Like, it's time. I'm clearly being shown. And I did. I've never regretted it a day. Ever.
I was the same.
Yeah.
Because it took me like 3 years of going, I think I can do this, but what if I can't? I'm not sure anyone would want to sit in front of me and be read by me. I mean,
which is so funny. If anybody's ever had a reading from David, and I know a lot of you have, like, isn't that funny that that's how he sees it, and he's amazing.
Oh, thank you. But it took me a long time. A really long time. And like you, and it's interesting, we both went that same journey, isn't it?
Yeah.
So,
but it's like, that was your truth, right? Your truth was that you were built to do this and that you were being shown, and God was like, I'm going to make you more and more uncomfortable till you just go for it.
Yeah.
Because we are stubborn sometimes.
It was driving me nuts. I was like, oh my God. And in the end, I just had to throw myself off that ledge. You know?
And trust, right? Like, that requires faith and trust, because it's not like, I mean, it's taking a leap, right? And trusting that you're going to be okay. And not only okay, but divinely protected and taken care of, right? And sometimes, like, that takes a little while too. Like, it took a little while after I took that leap. It took a little while for that to, like, come together. There was like this YouTube clip of Steve Harvey, and he was talking about how, like, sometimes when we take a leap of faith and we jump off that cliff, it takes a little while for our parachute to open. And so sometimes we're like falling and hitting ourselves on the rocks and until that parachute opens. And that was like my experience. It was very, very scary, right? I would watch that video every single day, just like move me back into the energy of faith and trust, because ultimately the quicker that we can get back into our light and the faith and the trust and the knowing that all is well, we're creating from that energy. And that's the energy that I want to create from.
Absolutely.
Right, is faith and trust. And you know, I was sharing with you, I have a couple of things that I've been nervous about, but I just keep saying, nope, let me keep coming back to my faith. You know, I all is well. Everything is always working out for me. I'm always divinely guided and protected. And I say those things to myself almost automatically now. Because it helps to lift me up above the gunk that is, like, the gunk is bullshit. It feels very real, but it's bullshit.
It is. But it's raising your frequency so high that nothing else matters.
Yeah, because once you get to a certain level, it's a lot easier to not go down into the heaviness. Sometimes we have to go into the heaviness to do our work, right? But it makes it easier to, like, stay above it because it's no longer an energetic match.
No.
So it's here and you're here, you know?
Yeah. And I mean, you summed it up perfectly for me. My thing was, this makes me laugh, you saying about your video on your parachute. Mine's the Madonna song Jump.
I don't know that one.
So I play that Madonna song all the time. Jump, jump, jump. Are you ready to jump? Get ready to jump, jump, jump. And it's literally like, just jump into it. Just go into it. Just face your fears and jump. And just have faith that it's all going to work out. But it is about, you have to know it deep in. It's all working out, even if it doesn't feel like it's working out, because a lot of the time it does not feel like it's working out.
It really doesn't. I always say the spiritual path, or truly honoring your soul, is a hell of a lot of a scarier path in a lot of ways, because it requires way more faith, right? And it also requires you to be awake. Which is very different from when we're sleepwalking our way through life. And so it's very uncomfortable. But the bigger vision of that is so much better. And so worth it. So hang in there for anybody who's feeling stuff. I would love to hear from people what you like to do to raise your vibration, to, like, pull yourself up and out of this stuff. So what are the tools? Like Dave talked about the Madonna song. I talked about that video, but there's a lot of things that we use. What other things do you use, Davey?
I listen to a lot of Abraham Hicks.
That works. Like, that's instant.
Yeah. And there's this one called subliminal manifestation or something, and it's and I can put the link on here. And I listen to that. I also do my my meditation. I think that helps me. You know. Yeah. And also I take lots of baths. So, Laurie is saying Abraham, yes. Yeah. So, and I sit in a bath a lot of the time, and I think to just calm the mind as well at the same time. You've got to calm yourself down. You've got to keep saying, hey, take a rest. It's going to be all right. It doesn't matter about tonight. You know, start back again tomorrow. It's all going to get better.
It's that reset, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And the water really is resetting. Any element, the earth, the water. For me, I love to be in the woods, but I'm an earth sign, so that really balances me out. So I love to be in the woods, and water definitely too. Like, to be at the ocean, I love that. But I'll go for hikes very regularly, very consistently. I love to just have my feet on the earth and connect. Yeah. I walk all the time. Now that it's getting warmer, that really balances me.
Jennifer's saying that's inner child. We're missing a lot of what you're saying. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it's going by quickly.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear what you guys use for that stuff. Regular meditation. Yeah, meditation is like the way that we honor our spiritual selves, right? There's a lot of ways to spiritually connect, but to me, that is the ultimate, because like that's us plugging back into source, and it's choosing to plug into source. Like, you're consciously choosing to use meditation to reconnect. And I always say, like, we have to plug our phones in, we have to plug ourselves in, so that we recognize how divinely supported and loved and protected you are. I don't know if anybody's ever had long motorcycle rides. Definitely. Yeah.
You know, I've never been on a motorcycle.
Me neither. That terrifies me, but I can see where the wind. I wonder if Stephanie is an air sign, right? Because a lot of times air signs need that wind.
I'm an air sign. I'm a Libra.
Yeah.
Did you see my face? I was like, oh, motorcycle. So Stephanie, if you want to come and pick me up and take me on your bike, because I've never been on one.
David needs a sidecar.
And like an anorak.
That's going to be our new investment for the Clarity Center. We'll come into work with you in the sidecar.
Sidecar readings.
Yes. We're just going to roll up to your town in our motorcycle with a sidecar and all of that. But to come back to the meditation piece, like, we're intentionally choosing to make that connection. I don't know if anybody's ever had this experience.
She's a Gemini. There you go.
Gemini. Yep. There we go. Yep. When we plug in, we can have those experiences of like feeling God, feeling the angels. Have you ever had that experience?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's so powerful. I love it. So she's an air sign. We tend to, it's helpful to actually look at your astrology with that stuff, because sometimes like that element that is our primary element is really balancing and helpful for us in some way, right? So if you're a fire sign, you might like to sit by a campfire or something, or burn stuff. don't burn stuff you're not supposed to. That's not being recommended.
Burning my house. No, I love that.
But like the wind, or for me, it's the earth. And I would wonder, like, for you, like if the wind is really helpful for you too, just like the wind, the breeze.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. I also find with air though that I get everything gets caught up in air, doesn't it? Air's everywhere. So maybe that's why my mind just goes like this half the time. Yep. I'm like trying to assess everything.
But a Libra is like, so air signs are very connected to like thoughts and thinking, right? Yeah. So you guys are like more likely to be in your heads. Look at you.
I'm so in my head half the bloody time. You know that.
But you also can look at the other elements in your chart. You know, we have our moon sign and our rising sign as well, and it's really helpful to kind of look at. Oh, we've got some more scammers in comments I see as well.
I love the way you just
don't
leave.
pay them your money.
I love the way you leave them. I'm like, delete. I freaking love it.
Oh, we'll just pray that they
what
find.
Are you? What?
I'm a Taurus.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'm a bull.
Yeah. Oh.
That's why I'm so stubborn.
Oh, my next brother down, Peter, he's a Taurus.
Yep.
Yes, yep. I should know that, shouldn't I? There you go. Yeah. As a Gemini, getting out of
as a Gemini getting out of her, she says, as a Gemini getting out of her mind is the hardest thing. Yeah.
Me too, love. Me too.
Yep. You know, one of the things that I really love for that is to like do something with your body, right? Because from one of the things that I found is like that when we do something that focuses on the body, it actually pulls you out of your head. Specifically discomfort, right? That's for me one of the reasons why I like to do workouts is it helps me pull me out of my head. Right. So especially if I push it a little bit to the point that I'm a Taurus, I don't like to be uncomfortable, but I do in my workout. And that's why it like helps to clear my energy, but it also helps to pull me out of my head a little bit. Push yourself.
I go in and out of like everything, giving everything, and then suddenly I'm like, oh, I can't do anything. I'm exhausted.
Well, it's balance. Yeah. Balance. We still have to look up your human design.
Yeah, you've got to do that.
Yeah. Because I'm curious about that.
Yeah, me too.
Does anybody know their human design out there? I would be curious. So what other things? How else do you guys like to raise your vibration?
Is anyone saying anything?
Let's see. It like makes it hard to. I don't know. Scammers.
Bob saying hi. Hi, Bob. Hello, my love. Are you still watching? Oh.
Jennifer says she loves
book,
my
The Joy,
thing.
what is that? The book? Gina's saying
The Joy of Living is amazing. Okay, I've never read that one. I read a lot of books. I've never read that one.
That's lovely. Regular meditation. There you go.
I remind myself that my inner child is protecting me and think I love that. Yeah.
Oh,
hi, Norm. Nice to see you on here. Norm used to be near my office before I moved here.
I'm not afraid of what life is, but I'm afraid. It's time to make my way. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Laurie, for sharing that.
I would love another thing that I really like. I kind of mentioned that, but like, is to use affirmations to talk back because a huge issue with vibration or heaviness is that we do get caught up in our thoughts and our thinking.
We do.
Right. So I try to be aware of that because it is amazing the bullshit that we tell ourselves. Amazing, right? Like it's all. So we always have within ourselves this battle between ego and our spirit, our faith, you know, like so we can kind of go back and forth between soul and ego a bit, and that ego will step in and it wants to like bring you down pretty quickly, right? So you know, have you guys ever noticed when you're starting to come up and out of the muck, the heaviness, you know, that you start to like those thoughts will start to come in, and it's that ego attack trying to like pull you back in. So like when I try to do something new, for example, it'll be like, who the hell do you think you are trying to do that, right? Exactly. Like we can be pretty terrible to ourselves.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And that little kind of voice that makes you so insecure. Yeah. Oh, it drives me nuts.
It drives it all day, every day, right? And so it's that number one, that awareness of how we're speaking to ourselves, because I think sometimes we don't always recognize how much we entertain that, how much we feed that, how much we allow, or even like fear-based thoughts, you know, like this fear of where we're predicting the future of these terrible things that we're expecting are going to happen all the time. You know, we do that so often, and part of the issue is that our thoughts create things, and so we really want to be aware as much as possible of our thoughts. And we're human. I mean, I have thoughts all the time that I'm like, oh, I don't want to create from that, you know, but we want to try to like start to shift that into, okay, so what thoughts do I want to feed? What do I want to focus on? And so I find affirmations are really helpful. I find just talking back to those things. So like, for example, if it's, you know, who the hell do you think you are to do that, right? One of my favorite responses to that now is, why not me? Why the hell not me?
Well, yeah, but we grew up with that, didn't we? My mum, I'm sure your mum was the same. Well, you're just as good as everyone else. You know, why shouldn't it be you? You know, my mum used to say, well, someone's got to win the lottery. Why shouldn't it be you? And I think it's that kind of attitude of, but it was our mums, wasn't it? It was our mums, our dads, our grandmas who could
we all have learned through people.
Constantly saying you're just as good as everyone else. But sometimes when we get older, we forget that, don't we? We really do. We forget that thing.
Or people have had experiences of people saying terrible things to them, right? I mean, we all have that, whether that's like, no matter where that came from, you know, we can, I would guess that each and every one of us can think back to a time in childhood when someone said something terrible to you that you still carry within you.
Oh.
Right? And you probably now repeat it back to yourself.
You do, yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean,
that is deeply programmed within the subconscious. And that, is it not moving? It's deeply programmed within the subconscious, and it makes it difficult to challenge that. But I think the first step with that is that awareness. Like, oh my God, like I am being an asshole to myself today.
Yeah.
And starting to talk back to it, right? I would never let someone speak to you the way that I have spoken to myself, ever.
Exactly.
I would like be exactly. Yeah. You would never, and so we want to make sure that we pay attention to that stuff so we can start to talk back to it.
We've got to stop being our own critics.
Yeah.
We've got to stop it. Otherwise, you don't do anything. Otherwise, we're caught up in like this nothingness of like, you can't just keep criticizing yourself or putting yourself down or saying, well, yeah, but. Go get rid of the buts.
Yep. No? You know, it's I was preparing for this thing in my membership, and we're talking about the mighty I am, right? The I am, whatever words follow I am is a spell, is a creation, right? So we want to make sure how we're speaking and how we're thinking, especially those things that are I am, because it's our soul is I am, our ego is I am not, right? And so paying attention to like those things even that we're saying that are following I am. There's a reason why affirmations usually start with I am.
Interesting.
And we use those words, those thoughts to create from.
Yeah, change the language.
Yeah, yep.
Literally change the language.
I would love to hear like your I am statement. And so what you want to do is base it off of maybe some of like the things that your brain has been trying to tell you, that your ego has been trying to tell you, and switch it up, right? One of those for me is I am not enough. I don't even like to say it out loud anymore. But like, so it gets switched into I am enough. Exactly. Yeah, Steph says fear, rejection, failure, and letting people down. Yeah. For you, like an affirmation for that might be, I am loved. I am lovable. I am accepted. I am appreciated. Whatever that looks like for you, maybe all of the above.
What's that one?
Let's see. So many negative thoughts are taught from childhood that create patterns. The patterns then repeat over and over until we can break them. And that's exactly right.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it's like we're talking about this. It's not easy stuff to do. The brain is 90% unconscious. 90% unconscious. And so it takes practice. It takes time. It takes a lot of work. Like I said, I've been doing some shadow work. I did some stuff for like 3 years where I was really focused on it, and I feel like I'm just coming out of that. Lisa says, I am worthy of good things. I love that.
Yeah, too.
Yeah.
And you are. And that's the most most important thing, isn't it?
God wants you to be great. I say it all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you are an aspect of God here in this world. And so how can you be anything but?
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
The other stuff is just bullshit.
It is.
That's my favorite word, bullshit.
I think
if you haven't noticed.
As we started in the conversation about this heaviness, I think we're realizing that we can change it. We can get out of it.
100%.
Yeah.
It's just the awareness and the work and continuing to grow and develop. In fact, I think a lot of us intended for ourselves to learn, how do I navigate my way through this?
Exactly.
Yeah. And then we can even use that to help other people on their journey in some way too. So I love that. Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Is there anything else?
No, not at the moment. Yeah. Well, we're here Monday, aren't we?
We're
live again Monday. Well, you are.
Yeah. We'll have a little surprise for you Monday.
And then
and we're going to be bringing in Chris Stilson with that too, because he's part of our event as well. He's the third person in that event, so that's going to be great. Yeah.
And just again about the event, if someone's just tapping into it, where would they get their tickets from? Where would they find them?
There will be a link right with this video. Or if you're watching this on my YouTube later, there'll be a link in the description to check that out, get all the details. But that is June 23rd from 6 to 9 p.m. at Aurora 360. If you are not local, it's in Elmira Heights, New York. We would love to have you guys travel out. And I know some of you live a distance away, but we'd love to have you guys travel out and see us too.
Just seeing, I'd love to meet some of the people that follow me. So.
Yeah, come ask us questions and have discussions like this. Like you guys seem really interested in engaging with this and having conversations. So we would love to do that with you and create in person in a room together. It'll be a lot of fun.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, you see, we have a lot of fun too. So it'll be good. All right, guys.
Yes.
We will see you soon.
Thank you.
Bye.